Hello and welcome back to Agents of Travel. I'm Rachel Van Ness.
And I'm Garrett Palm, and together we are secret travel agents.
Yes, and we have been tasked with the mission of kindly interrogating people to find out their travel memories so we can pitch them their dream trip.
To do so, of course, as secret travel agents, we do have secret travel agent names.
Which we will go over.
Yes, we will go over. You'll hear them soon enough. Today's guest, he's from Dropout. He's got so many solo shows.
Yeah,
in fact, including Chris Grace as Scarlett Johansson, and he's going to be doing one in the Fringe this summer in Edinburgh, Scotland, where he puts on a different solo show every day.
Yeah, which is an insane feat.
But
it's not a problem because the person we're talking about is
Chris Grace. We've worked with Chris through Baby Wants Candy over the years. And yeah, we just know him from, I knew him in New York. We know him in LA. We've known him in Edinburgh. We know him all around. He's a great, funny guy. We went to his wedding. He's a very funny comedian. I really like it. And a good performer.
Yeah. Funny, opinionated.
Yeah, it's great when somebody has opinions.
Yeah, we love a hot take.
Yeah. And we have a secret call-in. He does a secret call-in. We have a secret guest.
Our first phone a friend.
Phone a friend. We had Oscar Montoya.
Well, now you don't need to listen because now you know who it was.
Well, I'm kind of letting them know to get excited
Keep
and
listening.
listen because this is a long episode. He has a lot to say. So I think it's okay that they know that Oscar Montoya is coming at around hour 45. Yeah.
All right. So look out for that. Here we go. I like games where people mess up. You know?
Interesting, because I think some games make you feel sort of more powerful than you are.
So wait, you
and
like
Anomia
games?
makes you feel dumber.
Yeah.
Because especially when the other person so quickly names the word or whatever, you just feel it's like being in class and like not being the best student.
Sounds traumatic.
Which is I'm not used to.
We used to play it for an improv warm-up in Portland.
Yikes.
We would do...
Just to block everyone up before the show?
Yeah, make sure everybody's like... no, we... like... Because it puts me,
yes, I could see it clearing
in a weird headspace.
It's like the point at an object and say a different name for it.
Yeah, it's the pat your head, rub your belly.
Yeah, I suggest playing Azul as an improv workshop. I'm just looking at the other games. Bananagrams.
If you hate Anomia,
This Is Not a Hat.
You'll also hate This Is Not a Hat.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. That's a memory game.
What's that black box? Unearth?
Yeah, Unearth.
Huh.
Do you know Jake Michaels?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's friends of ours from Portland.
Oh,
and he gave us that game.
Oh, that's so funny because
I
just met Sam, who is
Sam DeRoast up in Portland,
is the buyer at Guardian Games. Who is he married to my friend Rachel from New York Improv?
Oh, cute.
Rachel Rosenthal.
Yeah,
so that was exciting. And so Sam is good friends with Jake.
Yes.
I was at Guardian Games every Sunday for 7 weeks in a row.
Okay, good.
Just now.
Yeah, right? Isn't it great?
Yeah, I mean that is one of the things that I could see myself living in Portland because the raw per capita interest in board games is off the charts in Portland.
Yeah, it's a fun place for board games and D&D. Like I think like people just with all the rain.
Yeah.
They're
people
inside
want indoor
playing board
stuff.
games.
There's an alternate trading card game called Flesh and Blood that like people say you should play this instead of Magic the Gathering, and it's I don't know, it's sort of up and coming, but also it's definitely like second or third tier in terms of popularity. In Portland, there's a store that is just a Flesh and Blood card game store dedicated to the game Flesh and Blood.
I think Portland is definitely the city where hobbies aren't dead. You know, like it's kind of like a hobby city and your career is sort of secondary.
I see that. I mean, I think that's why I could live there and I might have trouble pursuing my dreams if I live there.
That's
exactly
kind of what we ran into where it was like everybody has big dreams, but nobody ever goes through with it because you're too busy vibing.
Yeah. I could see that.
But if you're up there doing solo shows,
yeah,
just making stuff and like using it as a home base. That's a pretty good life.
I think it's a great audience city in a way. Like so I'm not sure if I lived there, if I would have a lot of like compatriots as comedians to like create stuff with, maybe, or I don't know. I mean, it was very judgmental based on I was only there a couple weeks, but it feels, in other words, I wish I had no ambition, because then I could live there.
Dude.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that I always say I would move to Portland when I decide it's enough just to be happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
because
but I'm not there yet.
I totally would be fine going every Sunday to Guardian games and playing board games with my friends that I met there. And going to whatever random peanut butter and jelly truck is the hot one of the moment. But then also I would feel the desire. I've always felt this in other cities that aren't New York and LA. So I think this might be more of a function of the delusion of like ambitious comedians, where we feel like, oh, we kind of have to like be where everything is happening,
Yeah, like I can't get too comfortable.
Yeah, and maybe I don't even know if that's true. I just think it's part of the arc that we're all sold as, like the narrative of trying to become bigger in show business, I guess. Because I feel the same way about Houston. There's a lot of great things about Houston. I maintain Houston is, to me, maybe the second top 3 food cities in the U.S.
That's what I keep hearing.
But also, I was just there, and like the weather is just horrible. Portland weather I loved, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I love overcast, rainy, cold stuff, and I was there at the end of June, and it was 55 degrees.
Yeah.
It was weirdly alternating between 85 and 55 degrees. But overall, the way that you live in Portland, I really enjoyed.
Yeah, quality of life is super high.
Yeah, I really liked that. I liked, getting on this streetcar that I had no idea where it was going.
Yeah.
And I went to the giant pinball museum in, I want to say, Hillsborough. Is that a thing?
Hillsborough
There's
is
an
a
airport out there. It's right next to the airport.
Okay.
But yeah, this year, in the program for my show, I had an interview, and in the little text of the interview, I said, if you're reading this, if you have board game store recommendations or restaurant recommendations, send me this at this email address. And it was crazy because I looked up, LA is more than 10 times larger than Portland in terms of population. The number of board game recommendations, different stores I'd never heard of. I think literally 11 different board game store recommendations.
Yep.
Whereas in LA, there's like 3.
Yeah.
It was wild.
That's awesome.
But I thought the food was very up and down. I'll be honest.
Okay. That's okay.
We actually talk about this a lot, like whether LA or Portland is a better food city. And
I think per capita, Portland.
Maybe.
Portland more concentrated.
And I think for variety, LA.
I agree.
I think there's more places in Portland that people think are good that aren't actually that
fair. But I think LA has a lot of places that people think are good and aren't actually good, and that like
that may
people
be true.
Promote and like really give a good image, like the image of being good.
I mean, good. I do think LA. To me, LA and Houston are the best food cities in the country, but it's mostly because in LA, I just think about all the places in the San Gabriel Valley that I like to go to.
Yes.
So if we're talking about downtown LA wet towards the ocean, there aren't as many places that I'm like super excited to go to, but I love going to like a birria taco truck in Burbank or something like that.
Yeah.
So because mostly what I like is like taco trucks and places with dumplings and stuff like that, then I mean, taco trucks, LA, I've never been to a better city where any taco truck you go to, the floor of the worst taco truck is so much higher than even the best ones of other cities.
You can't survive here being like a really bad taco truck.
It is hard because it's hard to have pizza if you don't want to have Desano every weekend, or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, there's not that many pizza places to pick from.
It's really blowing up.
Is it?
There are a lot of great ones now. Pizzeria Say.
Like Pizza Hut. Where's that?
Domino's. Pizzeria Say is like, central near Beverly Hills.
Okay.
It's it is like one of the top in the city.
They do a pizza kaiseki, right?
They
or
do
no?
omakase.
Omakase, yeah.
They're a Japanese style pizzeria,
And they have mochi crust.
Yeah, like it's not made with mochi. Like what they do to it makes it a little chewier.
Okay.
And it is really good.
Okay, I'll try that.
Yeah, you should give that a try.
There were more places in Portland where I would like 2 or 3 people would hype it up to me, and I would go, and I'd be like, "It's all right."
I'm really curious. I mean, that happens to us now in Portland.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, that didn't happen.
Well, I remember the last time I was in Portland was when Pok Pok was still around.
Yeah,
I went there and I really liked it.
And
I went to a couple different places that were like, this one was like a huge barbecue sandwich place. One was I went to a couple. That was where I went to. I had a grilled cheese on a school bus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In a
classic.
food court or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know why this time, one of the food truck places we went to was really good, but there were more places that were just like, oh, you got to try this Italian place over here, blah blah, blah. And I would go and just be like, it's fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Certainly could have just hit all the wrong places. I didn't keep like a log of them. But also, I was also staying downtown without a car, which made it harder to get to. Like most of the recommendations I was getting was in the southeast.
Yeah.
That's
Like-
where it's all blowing up. right now.
Basically
Yeah.
everybody was like, just go to the southeast to do stuff. And if you don't have a car, it's like not that. It's like, for example, I'll give a shout out to Cloud Cap Games in the southeast, which is a great little game store.
I haven't been
But
there.
from my hotel, cost $22 to Uber to. So it's just not the most fun shopping trip.
Yeah. Well, speaking of,
Let's hear this segue.
yeah, no, speaking of, oh man, I've been looking for a segue the last minute.
Yeah.
And
You do improv, right?
Okay, speaking of improv.
Speaking of improv.
We're not just the improvisers
That you know.
that
Right,
you know
right,
and have
yeah.
worked with, Chris. We're actually secret travel agents.
This is why
Whoa.
Rachel got on Herald Night and I didn't.
Wow. That reason doesn't make sense. But go ahead.
Yeah. So you know me as Rachel, but my secret agent name is Secret Agent Pannenkoeken, which is Dutch for pancake because I'm Dutch.
Famous from the Beastie Boys song.
What?
Famous from that, and also because
Do you know what I'm
it's
talking about?
No.
When I'm up in Holland, I ate the pannenkoeken.
That's
what they
pretty
say.
fun.
Yeah.
They
no,
should have been
yeah.
on Herald Night for that.
Yeah.
And Garrett's
You may know me as Garrett. We've known each other for a while, but I have a secret agent name as well, and it's Secret Agent Sticky Toffee Pudding,
Okay.
which is my favorite dessert.
And that's from the song More Than Words by Extreme.
yeah,
you do
yeah.
improv.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
we're not just normal secret agents. We're secret travel agents.
and we work for the National
Tourism and Travel Office, otherwise known as NTATO.
And we've been tasked. We're competing for a promotion, and we've been tasked.
Well, you already promoted Herald Night.
Hey, you know what? I'm on a roll. We're competing for a promotion, so we will interrogate you for all of your travel stories, and we will each pitch you your dream trip.
Oh, and then do I say one was better than the other?
Yes, you do.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I know you talked about wanting to feel powerful, so
Yes.
that'll be the
Yes.
most powerful portion of the
Right.
interview.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
You work for the National.
Tourism and Travel Office.
Okay.
NTATO.
It could also be natto, which is the
Yeah.
heavily fermented food from
Japan, the fermented soybeans.
Yeah, which I've heard is horrible.
I like it.
Of course you do. You like durian too, probably.
I mean, what's wrong with durian? Is just cheese fruit.
Listen to the sentence you just said.
But he shits on deep dish pizza because
I
he's
do.
like, but that's lasagna with crust. So I don't understand.
Deep dish is good every once in a while.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a
I
treat.
agree.
Yeah.
I don't shit on deep dish pizza. I just say it's not pizza.
Well, I'm glad you took a stand on
Yeah.
that. Deep dish to me is just annoying because it takes so long. Like if you're in Chicago and you
Yeah.
get one of the if you go to a Lou Malnati's or whatever, they're just like, here, oh, thanks for the order. It'll be ready tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At 5 p.m.
Yeah.
I love the anticipation though. Like I almost get sad when food comes out too fast and then you're like, well, we were going to catch up.
Yeah.
And now I guess that
Never
part's
once in my
over.
life have I been like, this came out too fast.
we eat so fast, Rachel and I.
Oh,
we
really?
are often if we have the first table, like if we get there right when they open and like other people are there, we are by far the first
But
ones
that's
out
good
of
for
there.
so you're good for the staff.
We're
then.
good for the staff.
Yeah.
That's a
Turnover.
we turn over a table.
Speaking of the deep dish, you know what I don't mind. In general, I don't mind soggy food.
Dude, me neither.
Yeah, Rachel's a slop
A
lady.
tres leches? Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
tres
do
leches.
it. Yep.
But like at the bottom of a deep dish, it's rarely like a crisp bottom
Yeah.
of a deep
Yeah.
dish. But I enjoy that. Mm-hmm. And then meanwhile, Garrett's measuring it for like, this is not a Neapolitan approved.
Yeah.
Where's their
What's-
manifesto about why pizza's important
What's the
to
fermentation
society in
time?
the menu?
That is. Did you ever go to Una Pizza Napolitana in New York?
No, but what was it? I mean, I've heard of it, but never been. I know that like there is this certification, this international certification, which Desano I think has.
Desano has
I
that.
do
That's
love Desano's.
yeah. Desano's yeah. That's like a certification that like that's a lot of places have those. That's fine.
But I
That's
mean,
fine.
like one thing is no, a lot of pizza places don't have a certification.
A lot
but
of
Garrett's already
Neapolitan
like,
ones
right,
do.
right. But Garrett's already like, yeah, of course, we're Windows CE certified, but
Yeah.
my consultancy actually
Uh-huh.
No.
specializes in MSFT plus LL whatever.
See, you lost me.
What is the extra level that Una Pizza has?
Well, it's not an extra level. It's just when I used to go like pretty regularly when they were on the Lower East Side, I would the menu has 4 pizzas. It would be 4 pages long, and only half of one page was the menu. The rest was his manifesto on pizza.
Oh, okay.
And it's really like it just got rated the #1 pizzeria in the world.
That makes sense.
And-
I'll shout out to Andrew Bellucci, my friend who died, who was the head pizza chef at the revived Patsy's
Oh,
in New York. And he became like part of I think he started a place called like Bellucci's or something like that
whoa,
in New York. But he was part of that world.
yeah,
You know, the Patsy's, Grimaldi's.
yeah, that whole
world.
break off Lombardi's was that part of it?
Lombardi's, I think is
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been to Lombard. I've never went to the guy DeFara in Brooklyn.
Oh, really?
But yeah.
I went
never,
once.
I
It
never
was-
made it out there.
It was great. It was
And
worth the trek.
I wonder how it is now. Because
I know.
Guys, this interrogation is going off.
Oh.
the
Oh
rails.
yeah.
Chris,
This is my counter interrogative
Technique.
techniques.
it's
is I
working
get-
really well.
I
You
get
got Garrett talking about pizza. Garrett might fall for it, but not me.
Okay,
Chris,
interrogation.
do you consent
Yes.
to being interrogated?
Sure.
Okay.
Wow.
I love people being interested in me.
Oh no, talking about myself. This
What?
is terrible. Okay, Chris, what was the first trip that turned you on to travel?
So I do have this memory as a kid doing a band trip from Houston, Texas to Orlando as a band trip. So I'm going to segment this into 1.5 trips, which is
Cool.
that trip it was just to like, it was for marching band thing, and it was just to Disney World, but also to Boardwalk and Baseball, which is some other theme park that doesn't exist anymore in
Whoa.
Orlando.
Never even heard of this.
But I remember feeling the independence of being on your own. I remember that I had a special Disney hat that I bought that I like tracked throughout the weekend because it kept falling off during like the Jungle Cruise, not Jungle Cruise. Is it No. The one that just ends with like a. Jungle Cruise doesn't have a thing.
No, it doesn't
This
have
one
Like
a-
a
ends with
Splash
Mountain
Splash
kinda?
Mountain.
Oh,
Split
yeah,
type
Splash-
thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that'd be like a fast boat on
Yeah,
Jungle
yeah,
Cruise.
yeah.
Yeah. yeah.
Well, the alligator ate it. No.
What did the hat look like? Like, what was it?
It was a little stretchy baseball hat with Mickey Mouse all over it.
Okay,
And
adorable.
so
Over
what's funny is I'm very indifferent to Disney stuff now, but I remember really being into it back then.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember the feeling of being in the, like, in the hotel, having the independence of like, oh, I'm choosing where to go and what to eat and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I remember liking that. Now, I think as a travel experience, not the most exciting thing because it wasn't like, you're in the I'm sure the idea of vacation to Disney World to Garrett is probably disgusting.
No,
Although
his family's a Disney.
I know your family is, but
yeah.
but you're like,
I
you probably walk around
appreciate it.
Epcot being like, ugh, you call this?
No, Garrett makes us go to Epcot, and he's like, now this is travel compared to Avatar World. Yeah.
No, I actually like the Avatar
Because
World.
they go for like a long chunk, right?
Yeah, my parents.
Do they own some DVC stuff?
They do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually
So they voted for Trump.
No, they did not. No, they did not.
They were the only DVC members who did not.
Uh-huh.
But I actually do like Avatar World real quick, just because it is like travel to a place that you couldn't travel to.
I do.
Or like the Star Wars,
'cause
because it doesn't exist. But it is like a little taste of like
as
a
opposed to like
world.
a mini China in Epcot or whatever.
Yeah, which I do like Epcot because you do like they employ people from those places and like make foods, and so it is like a little.
I mean, I like
into-
that when California Adventures does their food thing.
Their
I like,
food
yeah.
and wine.
yeah, I like that kind of stuff.
But I have a question for you. So like, it sounds like the thing that you really loved about that time was that independence. Is that something like you find in like travels now? Like you feel more independent when you're like
No,
traveling
now I feel
somewhere?
pretty independent. I think it
All the
shaped
time.
a way that I like, because really now my regular life is not unlike just a constant
traveling.
Yeah.
thing. Because I think when you become freelance in any way,
Yeah.
you lose the routine. The benefit and curse of the routine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a leaf on the wind.
Because I was thinking today, like, I have this moisturizer on my bathroom sink, and I looked at it today, and I was like, I haven't used that in a while because I don't have a coherent morning or night routine. And I think if I had a 9-to-5 job, it would make it easier for me to develop I always get up at 8:15. I always do XYZ. Then I get in the car. I'm at work by 9. Whereas my routine over the last month has been like 2 of the weeks where I was in a hotel in Portland with like half of my stuff, didn't have that moisturizer. And then we got home. I was home for 3 days. Then we went to Philadelphia and did a show. So like I'm constantly sort of grabbing components of my life, both material and like emotional or whatever. So it makes it harder it kind of feels like I'm always never fully settled.
Yeah.
So this might affect the vacations you pitched to me
know.
because I don't know that it's interesting because sometimes I'm like, I would love to do a trip where I just don't do much. And then I go on trips like that and then I get bored.
Yeah.
So there's just no satisfying me basically. But I think part of it is honestly, I actually don't generally feel that I need to go on vacations.
Because you travel so much.
I travel a lot.
Yeah.
And then when I'm not traveling, I'm pretty much doing whatever I want. So I don't know. I don't feel a ton of, it's been a long time since I felt I'm in a grind. I need a relief from this grind.
Yeah.
Well-
Well, I want to ask you another question, which is you mentioned one of the things you were most excited about going to Disney World was that you could choose whatever you wanted to eat.
Yes.
What did you pick that was like so outside of your normal?
Oh, I think it was more just that I get to pick whatever.
Yeah,
I'm
what'd
pretty
you
sure I
pick?
probably still had like pizza and stuff. I remember having a turkey leg.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those turkey, I still do that. Like I was at Disney, Garrett and I shot a thing recently that had a Disneyland component to it. So we went and shot that, and I got a turkey leg.
Wow. And
think I
you
got an
high-fived
extra
it with
one.
young boy Chris. And you were like, beautiful
you know that
moment?
movie Frequency where they're talking
Oh,
across.
yeah.
I had a pitch. They talk through turkey legs. So, which is weird. I think that, and just thinking back, when I was 12, I had a turkey leg at the Texas Renaissance Festival, and that was underwhelming.
I feel
But
like turkey legs are always disappointing.
Yeah.
They're always like
No,
pretty
not
dry.
not the Disney ones.
Really? They're like
the Disney
succulent.
ones are great. They are really juicy, and although I will say the thing that if you get this in your mind, it will turn you off, which is that they are cured in a way that makes them taste like ham.
Oh.
So they're like sort of salt cured in a way, which is very delicious and very juicy. But if you think of it the wrong angle, you'd be like, wait, this is just a
ham stick.
A stick of ham.
turkey-shaped piece of ham.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Is that appealing to vegetarians out there?
No.
I do always wish they had a veggie version of a turkey leg.
I do think of
It would
something
be
I
a
got at
tofurkey.
a Ren fair, and it was one of the coolest things I've ever had. And all it was, I was a kid, so temper your expectations. But it was like they cut an orange in half and hollowed it out, and then they just put like orange ice inside, so it formed a
Ooh.
ball, so you could
Yeah.
hold the orange as like the cup, and then the orange and it was like
Nice.
really finely shaved ice. I was like, this, I've arrived.
Yeah.
The Middle Ages rock.
And that was a common thing in the Middle Ages.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I was just in Philadelphia and made sure to get a water ice, which was very good.
Oh, what is a water ice?
Philadelphia's version of their like icy type dessert.
Yeah.
And it's quite. I had a
What
pineapple.
makes it different?
I don't think there's any dairy in it.
Okay.
I think it's just a very smooth tasting slushy type thing. Not grainy or gritty at all.
Interesting.
So
Ooh.
very kind of fluffy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
I've had that before. I'm never a fan of shaved ice, but if it's shaved so thin, it almost
Yeah.
becomes like
Have you
creamy.
had a Taiwanese shaved ice?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Those
That's
are
where
great.
we like it. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right.
I mean, at Joy, I really love it.
Yeah, those
I
are
have a great
amazing.
time. But I'm like, do I like shaved ice or do I like condensed milk?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, that's true of like Vietnamese coffee too, and
Yeah.
like other
Yeah.
things where it's just like, I had dumplings the other day, and I was like, do I like this dumpling or just like the sriracha sauce that I put on top of it?
Absolutely.
Okay, Chris, tell us a story about your best trip.
The best trip. I think probably up there is in 2019. My husband Eric and I went to Sydney to do a show, Thrones the Musical Parody, that we did for a month in Sydney. That trip overall was pretty incredible. Also, in hindsight, we should have just stayed in Sydney.
Never come back.
Well, we could have literally have stayed in Australia for another 2 years without impact, probably.
Yeah.
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 Because we got
man.
back in like the fall or something, or like late summer, and then like, a couple months go by, and then the lockdown happened. So like at that point, it would have been like, oh, we could still just be in Australia now.
Yeah.
What made Sydney, because you've done obviously the Edinburgh Fringe a million
Yeah.
times. So what kind of set Sydney or made that particular trip really special?
Well, I think similar to this run I just did in Portland, when you are, so in Edinburgh, y'all know in Edinburgh, it's so scrappy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like no one really cares if you're there in Edinburgh. Whereas in Portland or in Sydney, if you're an act that's been booked, then it's just you're just treated better.
You mean
Yeah.
you're saying you felt more powerful?
Yeah. Well, I mean, just and also it's also the prestige of the Sydney Opera House where we were
Yeah.
performing.
Yeah.
I remember.
And
I'm so jealous.
Just the feeling of being in the Opera House and just being like having a lanyard that got you in whenever you wanted to the Opera House. Their insane green room situation there, which is like an entire restaurant with all these like couches and stuff.
Holy
and
shit.
you're there, but also so is the ballet company. They're all taking naps on sofas and stuff.
And you're like, finally, comedians and ballerinas
Yeah.
are treated with the same amount of respect.
So I would say that trip combined with Eric and I both had really nice apartments that were separate because he was listed as cast and I was listed as director. And so we're booking like
Everybody
accommodations
gets
for
their own
everybody.
room. Wow.
And we're like, fine, that's fine. We'll leave it that way. So we had 2 very nice apartments in the CBD, the Central Business District. And our apartments were down the hall from each other. So essentially we just had like a bigger house than we normally would, right?
Uh-huh.
And it was, we could walk to the Opera House every day in the downtown Sydney area, which is really lovely.
Yeah.
And then I think the same month was the Sydney Vivid Festival, which is all these projections all around town. It's just a thing like it's a festival where people project lots of lights and projections all over. And they do a huge one on the bridge. Yeah, on the bridge. But also we climbed the bridge, the Sydney Harbor Bridge, and then they projected stuff onto the Opera House from the bridge. So that was really cool. And also highly recommend across the bay or whatever that is, there's a place called Luna Park, which is a really kind of creepy theme park that's like kind of old school. It's really weird. But it was very fun. It was a place that's sort of nightmarish.
It sounds like up my alley.
Luna Park City
sure.
is really interesting. It is the kind of place where like the entrance is a giant clown's mouth.
This would give you nightmares as a kid. It's
You're
giving a like
pictures.
Pinocchio kind of when they go to the Lost Boys kind of area.
But a neat, quirky thing. And then we also had the luxury of like I knew some friends from my New York rugby team that lived in Sydney, and so we got to drive around. They drove us around a couple times. That kind of stuff was really neat to get out of the city and then see all the. So if you have a picture of Sydney and most Australian cities like having these incredible beaches, they really do. We saw like Bondi Beach and other places. It's shocking how small they are, or a lot of them are very small. So it's the most beautiful beach you've ever seen, but it's much tinier than you think it is. But then there's another one if you drive. There's a bunch of like beautiful small beaches that you could go to.
Yeah.
I think there's some larger ones, but they just aren't as like driving to the ocean here in Los Angeles, and it's this giant expanse. Over. These are like little coves almost. Yeah. And I think because of that, maybe that's why the surfing is good. The water is quite active. Mm-hmm. But so that was neat to see as well.
How were the people too?
Horrible. No. The people were great. I actually don't remember. I don't remember having a sense of a character of Sydney. I know Sydney is seen as I think the snobbier of one of the Australian cities. The same way Edinburgh is seen as snobby Scotland city.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like Sydney when I was there. They're still Australians. So, compared to the rest of Australia, maybe they are snobby. But
but it's like we live down the street from WeHo, so nothing's going to feel...
Yeah. I don't think I had enough of a meaningful sense of what people from Sydney are like. I know that... I do think that, and this is based on my interactions with Sydney rugby players, that Sydney... I would say Australians in general... can be more the positive version of it is they are more this what they call like a have a go mentality, which is like just try it, go for it. Very kind of gregarious relationship to the world that is just tried shit. The weird negative backside is they talk a lot of shit in general. They just are. So there's a charming arrogance to them, I think, that can also be very abrasive at times. And I'll apply that to everybody from Australia. I feel comfortable saying that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that generalization's correct.
Yeah, of every single person there.
Wow.
It is weird how when you travel, people do sort of fall into... and I think it's because you tend to act the way the other people around you act. Mm-hmm. So I think there is some truth to these sort of city by city behavioral things. Yeah. And I don't think it's endemic of, people from that city are genetically or whatever like this. I think it's just, if you're in Portland, you are going to more readily accept a land acknowledgement before seeing a play.
Yes.
If I go do my solo show in Plano, Texas, and I ask them to do a land acknowledgement before the show, I think they're going to be surprised, or they're going to ask me what it is. They'll probably still let me do it, right? But they wouldn't. Whereas in Portland, it would be sort of expected to have
they're
one.
Already planning to do.
So I don't know that is like, the people in Portland are so much they probably are more progressive or liberal, but it's also just because that's what other people around you do.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of both those things, I guess. I guess I'm reluctant to apply really hard morality judgments on them, because I think if you took a kid from Plano, Texas when they were 3 and raised them in Portland, by the time they're 18, they'd be like, yeah, land acknowledgements. They're great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
We're all like the soup we grew up in.
Yeah.
Chris, probably the most exciting question here. What's the tastiest thing you've eaten on a trip?
And feel free to do a top several.
Because you're very much a food-based traveler, right?
Yeah.
Every time I've traveled with you, it was, mostly the Edinburgh.
I've been eating.
You've been eating, but you've been you were already looking up where to go, and we'd all follow you.
Yes. So it's wild that the most reliable, delicious food I can recommend is a chain. But it is
Nando's?
No, Nando's is great. I do love Nando's, but Nando's I know well enough to know not that I can't recommend it to everybody.
Yeah,
because Nando's is. I just really like the particular flavor combination of their chicken plus their rice and hot sauce and stuff, and their chips. But I think to a lot of Americans, Nando's is kind of skimpy on the portions.
Okay,
not super juicy. Yeah. It's so there. Okay, but without reservation, I can recommend Dishoom to anybody.
Yeah,
at any time.
Agreed.
And whether they are white, Asian, black, but specifically if they're Indian, I will recommend Dishoom to them. We'll go there and they'll be like, "This rocks."
When was the last time you went to a Dishoom? Because now there's so many of them, and I'm so curious if they've held up.
It must have been last August.
Okay.
Last Fringe, so we've been doing these sort of photo shoots for Baby Wants Candy in the sort of off day after the last day of Fringe. And the last 2 years, the photo shoot location has been this sort of pub bar that's right next to the Dishoom in Edinburgh, which is on...
It opened up after...
It's in Newtown, where in Newtown there's a park that has sort of, I think, a king in the middle of it, maybe. It's like a little grid. It's where the book festival is.
Yes. Okay.
So on the storefronts facing that park now, there is a Dishoom. There is Gordon Ramsay's steak place. There's a Wagamama. It's become a little restaurant row.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love a Wagamama too.
Yeah.
But also not. I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. Everybody.
Yeah.
Just without concern, because it's not the tastiest, boldest flavors, but I like
wasn't
them.
Very impressed by that. I think because they've been. I listened to a lot of the off menu podcasts where they talk about food.
Right.
Yeah.
And they mentioned Wagamama quite a bit on that podcast. I was like, this is going to be great. And I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Like a good airport option.
Yes. I have been to I forget what the Mexican place is that James Acaster likes that I get.
Oh, God. Is it good? Wait, have you been?
It's okay.
I feel like Rob Armstrong took me once.
Yes, Rob Armstrong probably did. But I go there because they have these little plastic spoons that James Acaster talked about being and people would steal the spoons, and then they had a spoon amnesty day where people could bring them back. But they're very good ice cream spoons.
But
the restaurant itself, they're a thick molded plastic. So, whereas the handle is like 3/4 of an inch thick. Round. So you're kind of holding it. But that I can't remember what it's called. It's either like Camino or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's not, none of the Mexican food in the UK is good.
No, they still haven't figured out even what it is.
Universally, I would try to avoid Mexican. I don't think they understand what hamburgers are.
I feel like they're trying to come around to hamburgers and Mexican food.
Yeah.
I feel like in the
again,
UK.
So again, I think it's what you have around you, because I had friends who made dinner for me once in Birmingham who made, and these are guys, they're very sweet and they love America. So they had a poster of New York City on there, and one day it's our dream to go to New York. We love Florida, all this stuff. So we made spaghetti and meatballs the way, American people like it. And it was like cut up spaghetti with cheddar cheese on top.
Oh, God.
And I was like, oh my God. But Yeah, it's interesting because like I think to them it was delicious, but it was so sometimes with the Mexican food or hamburgers, or even if you go to a Papa John's in Edinburgh,
Yeah.
sometimes you just taste and you're like, oh, you're way off. Like,
Yeah.
And I think it's how they feel when they drink tea over here.
Yeah.
Because they just don't
Yeah.
think we know what we're doing. I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's just not really a thing. But
Yeah.
I felt that way in Chile, where like on their pizza they would put like hot dogs and corn.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this isn't it. But it would suck because I would get tricked. Because every time I would be like, man, pizza sounds so good. And then you go in and you're like, this is not the pizza.
Pizza
I'm
is a
looking
really
for.
hard thing to find the one that you like somewhere else.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I disagree.
Chris, buckle up for it.
Find me a frozen pizza that you can purchase at a Tesco in the UK that tastes anything like what you grew up with. You can't.
Okay. The grew up with? Yes, that's
And
different.
also their ovens, all their appliances are so weird over there.
Yeah.
They're like, dial this number to 3 and then turn the fan to 11.
But I do feel like I've been to a lot of countries where there was just really, like Nepal. I remember having really pretty solid pizza at like a pizzeria. And, it was more of like a backpacker area.
I'm sure that Italians come here and they're just like, what is the shit?
And
pizza that you-
that's my other thing is like, New York pizza was that.
Yeah.
Like Italians came over and like started doing something different, and other people started doing different and started making it for.
I will say
its
when I go to
taste
New
here.
York, I just get the dollar slices constantly because we don't have an analog in LA.
No, we
for
don't.
those.
No.
And just the ability to get now a $1.50 slice of pizza that is just a cheese slice that is quite good, I think, and very cheap and like can sustain you through the whole day.
Yeah.
We don't have any equivalent here.
No, we don't.
So,
And-
Chris, you've mentioned a ton of chains though, or like dollar
Oh.
pizza. Like, do you like to do like? Have you eaten in any Michelin restaurants, or do you like to do
Oh,
fine
yes.
dining? Or are you
I do.
more kind
I've
of
been
like?
to 2 of the last year or the year before. I've been to 2 of the. I think it was 2 years ago. I've been to 2 of the starred restaurants in Edinburgh. Can't remember what they're called. They were good. It's interesting because
You're like, I just remember Dishoom.
Yeah.
it's interesting because by far the best single meal I've had was Momofuku Ko in New York. That's David Chang's
Yeah.
little bar setup. I've been there twice. Once just by myself because at the time it was so hard to get reservations. You had to like stalk their website at a certain time to get
Yeah,
in.
just hope you can get in at the bar.
So I got a single space at their bar setup, and that was a great meal.
Which, because don't they have several now? Because we went to one in Lincoln Center a few years
Of
ago.
Ko is you don't order. It's just essentially it's not omakase. It's not sushi, but it's
Okay.
it's a tasting menu that you don't get any choice. in.
Okay, no, we
And
have
it's,
not been there.
like,
I think we went to
it's
Sam. Okay.
Ko. I don't even know if Ko exists anymore, but it was like 21 courses or whatever.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my
and it
gosh.
was the at the time the big thing that he had was the like frozen foie gras that then they shaved with the microplane with a gelée made of like champagne or something like that.
that sounds nuts.
It was
Yeah.
great. I mean, it was basically these shaved little spirals of frozen foie gras that then just melted in your mouth with these little sushi type bubbles of champagne or whatever the
Wow.
liqueur was. Yeah, that was great. And that was, I think when I first went there, my meal was $140 or something like that. And I was like,
man.
oh my God, I can't believe I've spent this much. But absolutely
Now.
worth it. And then I went later one time with James and we did a pairing of, they had like a flight of alcohol that paired with it as well. And that one was really good too. It is funny because now if Erica and I order Thai food from Uber Eats, it can be like $90. And
Yeah.
it's crazy now that like we had breakfast in Philadelphia and I think it was $32 for the breakfast or something. And we're like, this is great. I can't believe how cheap it is. And just the idea that is cheap to us now.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's so sad. Yeah, because that would probably be like 400 or 500 now.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, in retrospect, for that meal for 140 was pretty incredible.
That's kind of a good argument to shoot your shot in the present moment because food's only going to get more expensive. So
yeah.
I mean, I still remember that. I still somewhere have a little book where I wrote down all the dishes. I was taking like a little journal of the whole situation. And actually, somewhere on YouTube, I have a video I took with a flip camera. Do you remember those flip cameras?
Yeah.
Of the guy who sat next to me, who I didn't know, who we just talked about the meal afterwards. I have a video of it somewhere.
Whoa.
But also, I do want to shout out the restaurant Noodles and Dumplings in Edinburgh, which I
think I remember this place.
I think it might be after your time, maybe.
Okay.
Well, because it's
maybe not.
Anyway, that they have hand pulled noodles there, which
I feel like I think
it's
my
near
last year it opened.
Okay,
up,
it's near the Papa John's.
Yeah.
But it's, and I think this is a thing that's really hard to recreate. They have hand pulled noodles. So in Los Angeles, there's places that have hand pulled noodles.
Yeah, but
there's a lot of regional integrity in Los Angeles where the place that has the hand pulled noodles will not also have soup dumplings or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? They won't, because they're not from that region. They're not going to have hand pulled noodles and pork fried rice or whatever. Whereas the noodles and dumplings in Edinburgh, I think, has to be, especially when it first opened. Now you'd be shocked on Clark Street. There are so many Chinese restaurants there.
Really?
Now. Yes, it's
That's cool.
The entire stretch of Clark Street.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of Chinese students are at the university now.
Oh, cool.
So it's like they're the number of, like, now there's a hot pot place that just opened up.
Yeah.
So, but because when Noodles and Dumplings first started, I think that they had to, like, we're gonna have hand pulled noodles, but we still have to have a dish just called chicken stir fried noodles.
Yeah,
that is just our noodles, but with the way you would make a normal, just chicken breast stir fried chicken with really good pasta, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas in LA, you can't find that sort of genericized for public consumption. Yeah, it's like everybody here is too specific.
They're too true to their food. Yes. Yeah,
they have too much integrity. Basically,
Dave Chang talks about this. He's talked about one of his favorite things to do is get Sichuan food at a Cantonese restaurant. Because like, especially for a stretch when Sichuan was becoming popular, like like there weren't Sichuan restaurants yet.
Yeah, and
so like just seeing the different takes.
Yeah.
From a Cantonese
because
chef.
The oily sort of profile of American westernized Chinese food that you sort of know from eating just lo mein at a order place, right?
Yeah.
That if you made that with the best hand pulled noodles you've ever made, it's a great dish.
That does sound
but
awesome.
It's real. Like in LA, I've gone to 4 or 5 different places where the noodles are great. The flavoring is, instead of that flavor, it's a really sharp, acrid black bean sauce, and it tastes great. It's very sort of where they're from.
Yeah.
But also Eric loves the one in Scotland, so it's really weird. But we go to Scotland to have this Chinese food. That's the only reason we go to Scotland.
Yeah. Okay. We'll probably talk more about food. Throughout this, I'm sure. Chris, what tourist attraction lived up to the hype?
I will say the Sydney Harbor Bridge climbing did live up to the hype. It seems a very corny thing to do, but it did. But I will say the thing that actually lived up to the hype was the Eiffel Tower.
God damn it.
Dude, this happens every time.
Oh my God.
I'll just say it quickly because we've talked about it multiple times.
Yeah.
So this is a sore spot for us because once, instead of going to see the Eiffel Tower when we were in Paris.
Oh, you didn't?
No, Garrett had us wait to meet up with his ex-girlfriend, and we waited in the rain for 3 hours.
How many times has Eiffel Tower been said?
Like, it's
so
like,
many times.
I would say 50% of the time people are like, you know what? Eiffel Tower lived up to the hype. And the whole time Garrett was like,
so
it's not that great. It's dumb.
Because I was like, I took Rachel to my favorite spot to see it from.
Yes.
From far away.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of looking out over the city with the Eiffel Tower. I think it's a very romantic viewpoint.
Yes. Yeah.
But
well, it's especially romantic with your ex there.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that was different.
City of
It's
Love,
very
let's say hi to
Portland
my
of
ex.
Garrett to be like, let's get the 3 of us going in a polycule.
Yeah.
Also, a side note: Disney Paris was actually very fun as well.
I've heard good things. Yeah. So
but-
what about the
well,
Eiffel
so
Tower?
it's the whole package. Well, my defense is your ex-girlfriend wasn't there.
Yeah.
No, I will defend the whole thing because as an experience, because it was a very weird thing where you're never sure where to get the ticket, or sometimes when you're in a different country, you can't tell when you're being scammed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I signed up for this thing that was meet here. You will do a tour of the Eiffel Tower, and then we'll have a seminar talking about the history of whatever. And so we met this woman. We were in our group. Other people in the group were like, "Is this real? What's happening?" I can't remember if they paid for us to get in. It was the kind of thing where you meet on a side street near the Eiffel Tower and walk up.
Yeah.
So then we went through, and then you go in an elevator like halfway or a third of the way up, and then we went into this very nice conference room in the Eiffel Tower where this guy just gave a history of the Eiffel Tower. And the whole time I was thinking, this feels similar to a multi-level marketing scam. What is going to be at the end of it? It felt like a timeshare presentation. And then at the end, they said, here are these little gift boxes that have some French chocolate in them.
Oh.
And that was it. And I was like, what? This is crazy. Like it had all the earmarks of at the end, they would say, and now we have charged all of your cards.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
€100 against your will or something. And no, we were just then released to go up the rest of the Eiffel Tower, walk around. So I don't know. I think I might be colored by this residual faith in humanity that was restored kind of thing. It was just we want to tell you about the Eiffel Tower and we want to welcome you to Paris and be nice. That's all it was.
That's so cute. I wonder if it's their whole mission to be like, we know people say that Parisians are not very kind to tourists, and we are going to actually change
Where did
that.
you find this tour?
I think I must have found it through. I tend to do research through the like Rick Steves stuff, so it might have been through that kind of thing.
Okay, that's cool.
But yeah, I mean the view is nice, and besides that, it wasn't all that. It's not that great.
Yeah,
you know what?
Okay.
You should,
I went up it
Chris,
in 2000. It was fine.
Yeah. I will say I don't have a big pool of touristy things to pull from.
Oh, you don't seek that out often?
I don't think so. I mean, I think I've done the Edinburgh Castle and it was fine.
Yeah.
The Mary King's Close was good.
Yeah.
But I mean, I will go to a town and look at, like, the Portland #1 thing to do on TripAdvisor is the Japanese gardens.
Yeah.
Which I did not get to. We went to somewhere else.
They're pretty good.
We went to Peninsula Park.
Oh yeah,
and that was really lovely.
Yeah,
actually.
that's a great spot. We
Yeah.
used to disc golf there.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't have a ton of, if I go, like if I go to Chicago, I got to go see the Bean or whatever.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I guess my destinations tend to be food or what is like I'll go to like a Meow Wolf type thing or whatever.
Yeah, you're like something a little interesting that feels a little more like...
I've done the Arch in St. Louis. That was fine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're all fine.
Because you can go up it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
really small. The little capsule you go up in is
It's
if you have
rickety.
any claustrophobia issues, not a good experience. Because it also bangs every 11 seconds.
God.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before, but gotta say the Shakira statue in Colombia, worth the hype.
Actually, I will give you a very touristy thing that I did. You know what? I'll say this surpasses the Eiffel Tower.
Okay.
In Stockholm, the ABBA experience.
Oh?
The ABBA Museum, which has a history of ABBA and then has a holographic, you can perform with them. You can like do karaoke next to 3D avatars of them and then get a souvenir video of it.
Oh my God. That sounds
So yeah, I would put that
awesome.
above the Eiffel Tower.
Wow. I know. That does sound pretty fun.
And also,
I would do that.
Garrett's ex-girlfriend works there.
Just one of the holograms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, what has been your biggest fish out of water moment?
What are the things you would describe as being characteristic of this?
Yeah, like what trip stretched you the most, or did you feel like you like stood out the most?
Or like a moment where
a
you're
recent
like,
moment
so
when I
far.
felt the most alienated. What were you saying?
Or just like, this is the furthest from my experience, my normal experience, where you're going to say something about Portland?
Yeah, I was going to say something about Portland. Most beyond my experience.
But it can be...
It can be Portland.
It can be Portland, where you feel
actually, I'll say a quick thing, which is that Baby Wants Candy, we've done a couple gigs in the Seychelles.
Oh, yeah.
And so one time flying back from there, we had an 18-hour layover at the Dubai airport.
Oh, yeah.
And Zach Zimmerman and I were there. And Zach knew someone from college who was living in Dubai. And she took us on a 10-hour, essentially, tour of Dubai. And that's the furthest aflung I felt, I think.
Yeah.
Where we saw like the gold market and then a camel area, like you could ride a camel. We didn't ride the camel, but like an area where camels were around. And then we went to a weird beachside bar that was in view of the Burj Khalifa. And so, and that had the best hummus I've ever had.
Really?
At a chain restaurant there called Zarub. And I've been trying to find the recipe for that. It was just... Yeah. That was a situation where the hummus was... Where I was talking about before, where I assume in Dubai or other cities over there that their standard for hummus is going to be higher than ours.
Yes.
So they're just not going to accept mediocre hummus.
Yeah.
So the equivalent of Taco Bell over there is going to have insanely good hummus. And
Yeah.
it was so good. It was so like fluffy and creamy.
Oh, yeah. No, there's nothing like a incredible.
But similarly, I would say of the last couple of years, the most alienated I have felt were two things. One is mid-COVID, went to my friend's campground in Julian, California, and we drove through California through a city called Truckee.
Yeah.
Oh, I know Truckee.
Yeah.
My aunt used to have a house there.
Yeah, that was so. It was mid-pandemic when there was not a mask in sight.
Yep.
There was a lot of Trump flags flying.
Yeah.
That was a weird town to get food in.
Yeah. No, we experienced very similar things driving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But recently, the most separate from everyone else that I have felt
Here it comes.
was at my friend's concert in Portland at the Roseland. Great concert. My friend is in a band called Ninja Sex Party. Super fun group. It was a sold out, I want to say 2,500 or 3,500 venue where I was counting the people of color, and it was me and one Asian woman and maybe another guy that I was just like, I'm not sure, maybe he is. And that was the most I guess I've been spoiled by living in LA, but it was such a white space that I did, and they weren't doing anything for me to feel this way. I just felt very it was almost like I did feel am I supposed to be here? You know. And there was a moment where everybody sang I Want It That Way in terms of the house music. Before the concert, every single person in that room sang the entire song. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I do feel separate from this.
I think that's something that we get really spoiled with in LA. And I think about that when we think about moving anywhere else, where it's like to have this many different sorts of folks in so many different neighborhoods and different like cuisines represented and stuff. I'm like, there are very few places in the world where you have something that's like this
I think we
special.
forget how large the city is.
Yeah.
And to be second only to New York in terms of sheer population, but because we're sort of spread out further, it does mean that we're not colliding with each other as much, but it does. But it also means if you drive 15 minutes, you can get, maybe the best Thai food in the whole world or something. Although I will say, apparently, according to my Japanese like Japanese people that are from Japan, apparently our Japanese food sucks.
Really? Even in like Torrance or
not Sawtelle
yeah,
They
anymore.
were my friend who did makeup on one of the things I shot. She was saying that her brother opened a ramen shop in Tokyo, and she said all the ramen here sucks.
really? Yeah.
and their perspective on the sushi here, which I love. Like when I moved here, I couldn't believe that I could just go to Sugarfish whenever I wanted to, because I love Sugarfish. And they're just like, the sushi we have compared to what they have at a 7-Eleven is just trash.
It's like us turning our nose up at Mexican food in other places.
basically.
It's like
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
Japanese food here.
Yeah, but I love
Yeah.
Sugarfish.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never been.
I believe it. Just
Yeah.
that they're in Japan, just like I was so impressed by like all the small like access to small farms they have.
Yeah.
So all
Yeah.
the produce was better. Like their access to like fish, I'm sure, is so much better.
A lot of, like in the UK, they have more restrictive guidelines about preservatives and stuff. So the grocery stores in the UK are far superior than ours. And
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
But then sometimes I just think that we, for whatever reason, it's, at least in our lifetimes, probably going to be too hard for our entire food culture to shift over to get us the things we like about these other cultures, you know?
100%. Just I know there's like because my dad's he was an almond farmer, so I kind of know a little bit about agriculture, but it is just like I've been hearing that there are more communally oriented farms, which are actually kind of like female led, which is kind of cool because they're more like community based. But in general, our food system is so fucked up. It would take a lot.
Did you ever go to the Park Slope Food Co-op? Were you ever remember
have.
that? Yeah, it was the.
I think I might have. I think maybe not. No, I don't. I never joined that co-op, but I have been there.
It's the largest food co-op in the country. I think.
Wow!
Or at least it was.
Yeah,
when we were there.
I think that I inquired because I lived in Brooklyn Heights at the time. I think I inquired about what if I joined, and it was like you have to work there 4 hours a week or something like that.
4 hours a month.
A
I
month,
think.
okay.
Yeah, but it was like
Weird. They told me 4 hours a day.
yeah.
Strange.
Yeah. No, they took one look at me and like we have nothing for you.
You're middle management.
Yeah. Yeah. But they would have nights where the farmers would come down from upstate. They were all women.
Yeah.
Like all the farmers that were supplying the food co-op there. But it was like a really cool place to kind of get to know your produce, you know.
Yeah,
where
it's
it was
interesting
coming
because
from.
I think I've always aspired to have a life that revolved around farmers markets, but I don't have one.
Do you
I go
live,
occasionally.
do you live near one?
There's one actually in Hollywood.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah.
And I've been. Wait, is that the same one where I've been to the one where Harry's berries, the strawberries?
I think
come
that's
out.
the
Yeah,
Hollywood
yeah.
one.
Yeah, I've been to that one.
Yeah.
It's good. I would love to be a person that, you know, goes and takes a sample of your bell pepper.
Yeah.
And then, you know,
Yeah.
today I'm inspired to make, you know.
But you'd have to be home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause,
I'm also, I think of this, you know, the song by SZA called Kill Bill. Where
No.
it's I just killed my ex, not the best idea. But there's one lyric where she says, "You were at the farmer's market with your perfect peach." I love that
You're
line.
like,
so
I
much.
want that to be me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have perfect peaches right now from the farmers market.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, we
Kitchen.
do,
It's
yeah.
really incredible.
Not to brag, but
Okay, Chris, if you could step into any moment from your travels, anytime you wished, which quintessential perfect moment would you pick?
This is interesting because it's like something that happened while I was traveling. I guess it was the point of the travel. It's 2000, I want to say 8 maybe, or 10, 2008 or 10, when my rugby team was in Minneapolis for the International Gay Rugby Championship. The Bingham Cup is what it's called. And the moment when we won the game is like maybe the highlight of my life.
was it like an upset or like put us
It
in
was
the-
an upset.
Yeah.
We
Wow.
beat the New York Gotham Knights. I think we beat the Sydney Convicts. And
What was your team's name?
the Gotham Knights?
Oh, you guys were the Gotham
Yeah,
Knights.
we were the Gotham
Okay.
Knights playing the Sydney Convicts, and that's,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
all of the teams from Australia and also from the UK are just better than the American teams.
Yeah.
For the most part in rugby. Just it's part of their culture in a way that it's not for us. So the American teams are a bunch of people that have mostly either started playing rugby like at the earliest in college, plus expats from Australia or New Zealand, added to your team. Whereas you play against these Australian teams where they've been playing since they were 4 years old.
Yeah.
So it was an upset. It came down to they were trying to kick a what was it called? It's not a field goal, but they were trying to kick for points.
Extra point?
No, not extra points. They were trying to kick for 3 points, basically,
Okay.
and that would have won them the game, and they missed. I mean, we won on the guy missing, but I don't care.
Yeah.
It was the last play of the game, and when he missed, that rush of endorphins was like maybe that is probably the most joyous I've ever felt, which is interesting because it has nothing to do with like comedy or my relationships or anything.
But it does have to do with feeling powerful again.
Yeah. Well, I was on the sidelines at that point. It was more just like that was more that I remember a feeling of we had worked so hard for like 4 years to try to become a good team, and having it pay off in that way was amazing.
How did you celebrate?
I don't think we did anything crazy. The Australians all did cocaine. I mean, I'm not a big drinker, and rugby culture is a very big go and get drunk type culture. I mean, I actually don't think it was Minneapolis. I don't think I did anything particularly special, but those rugby trips actually was also part of like one of the other trips I was going to say for like first getting the travel bug was going to Dublin for a rugby tournament. Like the rugby team did take us. We went to Dublin one year. We went to Minneapolis. We went to the UK. So that was an impetus for I think the Dublin trip was when I got my first adult passport. That was my first trip to Europe.
Yeah.
You know, and that is an interesting thing when people haven't been to Europe at all. The first time they go, I think, is really interesting. Because I think some people get addicted, and it's
Well, it's the first time you're like, what the hell? Things are better over here.
Yeah. And I think it is also for a lot of people, it's a study abroad where they get that first feeling of independence too, and where they can like be taking classes during the week and on the weekend go someplace completely different and come back.
Yeah, I mean, also it's so underrated how close everything is over there.
Yeah.
Because even for us to go to San Francisco, is to go from London in that same amount of distance, you get to to entirely different cultures.
Yeah.
Or Manchester.
Yeah.
But I think that is it's funny because I have friends that live in London, and I think in our minds we think, why don't you just go to Paris all the time or whatever? But it's also, I lived in Los Angeles now for over 10 years. I haven't been to Hawaii once. And when I lived in New York, I was always, so not living in New York now, New York is very easy to get to Europe in a way that is harder for us in LA.
Yeah.
And I sort of took advantage of it, but LA to Hawaii is like not long, and also sometimes they have really cheap flights. Like you can just keep your eye, and we've never been just because
you get set in a way, you get in a routine or a lack of routine.
I think actually it's also Eric was just telling me today about how I'll be in Boston for 7 weeks in the fall, and I was just in Portland for 7 weeks, and I had friends that the last week of Portland they said, we were going to try to come see your show, but we're going out of town this weekend, so I guess we're going to miss it. And I just thought, I've been here for 6 weeks doing the show, and I think you get into a thing where you live in New York City and you think, well, I don't really need to go to the Statue of Liberty. It's like not that big a deal.
Yeah.
And then you move away and you're like, oh, I never went to that once.
Yeah. But that's for us. Like we always appreciate when people come to visit us.
Yeah.
Because then we do that stuff.
Then you can go to the Getty and
My dad's coming down.
Yeah.
In August, and we're going to the Getty.
studio tour.
Getty is such a great, easy.
Yeah.
and genuinely impressive place to take people.
It's exciting that it's free. Like
Yeah.
anytime a public works is free, I feel like
Yeah.
very.
And it's just beautiful being on that hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I even like taking the little tram.
I know.
Yeah. To me, the tram is like a big part of it.
Yeah.
Will you do the villa as well? Or is it
Probably
gone?
not.
Yeah.
I think it's one at a time with my dad. Like we'll do
Yeah.
one museum while he's here. And
Okay.
then with my dad, it's also like the first restaurant you ever take him to in a city, you better like it because we will always be going back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, has he been here before?
Yeah.
Yes.
he
So
has.
what was the pit? What did that end
Well,
up being
It was
like?
Golden Road. And so now we always have to go to Golden Road.
But we've disrupted that.
Okay.
Yeah, he went to Pergoletta last time and he really liked it because
Okay.
he had like a cute conversation with a like waitress where she's
Okay.
like, "I'm a mom and I'm trying to be an actor," and my dad's like, "That's beautiful. Follow your dreams."
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Take him to Cafe Gratitude.
Oh my
He would
God.
hate it.
Oh, he would hate that.
Maybe
Yeah.
that'll be. I gotta go back to that.
Yeah, this place was so weird. He's going to tell all of his friends about it. Like,
Yeah.
they took me to this place where I had to talk about my
Vegan.
power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am satisfied.
I'm not going to say that.
Chris, is there a local custom you've observed while traveling that you've implemented or wish you'd implemented into your daily life?
That I've observed. I think that I don't know if y'all are like this, but when actually maybe this goes back to the thing of just doing what other people do. When you're in the UK and you just start, I'm going to start making tea every morning.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because also this kettle is insane and it heats up in 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you try to do it when you get home, it doesn't take in the same way.
It just doesn't hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that I got pretty good in the UK and in Portland in this last run of having some green tea every day.
Ooh.
It's because also I was trying to take care of my voice, so to have green tea and honey every day. And then at home we have a tea kettle here.
Yeah.
And I had leftover matcha and green tea bags that I brought home from Portland. Haven't made it once.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about there is a thing where if everyone kind of expects you to have done it, for example, I would say out in the UK and Portland, we need to expect people to take showers more often. I'll just say that.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Portland's got an issue.
Portland's
Yeah,
stanky.
that's fair.
Especially, I would say, I'd say the women too, but particularly the dudes in Portland
I
are,
think
they're a
it's-
little remiss.
I
Right.
think it's a distrust of deodorant.
Yes, I experienced that.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in terms of like the chemicals and stuff.
Yeah.
Don't they have a Tom's of Maine's up there? They
I
could
think
do
even
or
those
something?
are like that's still like doing something unnatural to
Yeah.
your pores. I don't know.
But you know how sometimes, even if let's say you didn't have deodorant, if you were showering every other day minimum, you'd still smell better than some of the people I smell.
Yeah. That's
Okay,
fair.
I believe you. I'll
Yeah.
say I get if I don't wear deodorant, I went on a walk and I was like, I hate everything about this. I'm immediately stinky in a way I
Yeah.
don't want to be.
I
But
met fewer. Just to be even-handed, I'll say this is very true of the UK as well. Maybe it's because they're damp climes. Because there's a lot of people, especially guys, that will wear a sweater and be like, "This is cool." Like,
this will contain it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't.
and they've worn a sweater for 3 days in a row or something.
Yeah.
And now it's just infused with like,
Yeah.
because there's also a difference between like BO and then that smell of like you haven't showered in a while. It's like a even more like acrid kind of smell.
I think
feel
it's
like.
an appeal to nature thing because I've also experienced it in like parts of France where it's like it's not damp.
Do you think
It's-
if you were living back in Portland for 3 years, at the end of the 3 years, would you have stopped noticing it?
No.
No. Well, because
And that's why you don't live there.
I'll also say that like I feel like I maybe as like a little girl had enough shame about being terrified of being hairy or smelly, and that just never goes away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I'd
and-
have to take my power back so hard.
Well, I will say,
Yeah.
in a sense, then some of it's connected to sort of reasserting feminist values, right?
I
Yeah.
think
But I don't
so,
see
yeah.
what does that have to do with the dudes? So I don't think that
I think
some of
it
the
is-
dudes are doing that.
I think it is an appeal to nature. Like
think some
this
of
is
the-
natural. This is how we're like. I think there's also I've encountered like a mindset too of
Oh.
like we don't need to shower so much.
Yes, yes,
We
yes,
should
yes,
let
yes.
the natural oils on us.
So this is like the Russell Brand type.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, actually, I do see that because there definitely are guys in Portland that are like that.
Yeah.
But there also are guys in Portland that are, you know, the guys I would meet at board game stores.
Yeah.
That are not
Yeah.
so much. They're not shopping at REI that much.
This was so mean, but I went to school in Portland, and there's this guy. Well, these two guys who he just called the neckbeards, and they just smelled like absolute dog shit. And they're just like sweet little nerds, but like they just smelled fucking awful.
Yeah.
all
Well-
the time.
Can I go back to
Yes.
something else you said?
Yes.
With the drinking a lot of tea while in the UK.
Yeah.
Do you feel like when you travel, you are also one who like enjoys putting on the persona of like I'm in the UK. I'm gonna experience life as a Brit a little bit, or like,
Probably.
and then when you're home, it's just like okay, I'm back home.
Then Chris
I'm
is like, "Who am I?"
I'm back
All
to
I get there,
routines
I'm
are
like,
gone.
All right, love. Let me
Yeah.
let me get a cup of tea. Maybe. No, I think it's more like. Do you? I love being. I love the blank slate nature of travel.
Yeah.
Where you go to a hotel. There's nothing of your stuff. You get to sort of redecide what kind of person you are.
Yeah.
I almost always, on the way home, completely empty out all of my luggage and sort of reorganize it. Try to throw stuff away to not bring home. There's a cleansing element to that. So I don't know that it's that I'm trying to be British or whatever by having the tea. But part of it is also you're in a kitchen that has a nice tea kettle and it's set up in a way that's
It's
what
way
you're
more
supposed to do.
accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, the other thing, this is not a custom, but you know, we just generally walk more when we travel in all these cities.
Yeah.
And it's hard to, I mean, we have arguably the best weather in the world to be people that walk every day here. And it's really hard to reproduce.
Yeah.
I don't find myself, and it might just be that it's harder to walk without purpose.
Yeah.
I remember, I think it was Oliver Sacks that said that one of the things that's difficult about like running on a treadmill is that your body sort of doesn't respect that you're not doing it for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, you're just, I mean, there is some reason, right?
Yeah.
But there's like, but in Edinburgh, you're walking because you're walking from your flat to the venue.
Because the performers need a shirt from Primark right now.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
whereas the sort of aimless, you know, the forms of exercise that we get, which are like running, walking, or lifting weights, it's like your body would like it more if you were lifting weights because you were working.
Yeah.
You know, if you were at the opening scene of Les Mis,
Yeah.
and you know, hauling those ropes.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that I think it's hard to in Edinburgh, in New York, even in Portland. There were more destinations that were like, hey, let's go to this place, which is like 9 blocks away.
Yeah.
It's easier to just walk there. The weather's nice for it.
Yeah.
Whereas, I mean, where I live in LA, there's not that much I'd walk to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Well,
I
it's
know.
funny once I brought, whenever I go with LA friends to Portland, I'll be like, oh, let's just walk there. It's like 9 blocks away. And they'll
Yeah.
be like, I'll call an Uber.
Yeah.
Like, I realize like some people just really aren't walkers. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're not walkers or they're just like not accustomed to
not
it.
used to it because here it's just not a thing, and
Yeah.
like it drives me crazy. But
Yeah, I mean, but it's also, we have nice parks here that we could drive to and then walk in a circle.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate the driving to walk or driving to bike or driving to run.
Yeah.
Like it drives me crazy.
Although Dreezus will argue for walking around
Reservoir.
the graveyard.
Oh, the graveyard.
That was her. That was her big
Yeah.
lockdown haunt. She was like,
walking around a graveyard.
Yeah.
You don't like to drive to bike or
Yeah. I don't like to drive to then do. I want to be able to just walk out my door and just walk.
right.
Instead of like walk out my door, get in the car, go somewhere, and then like
Put the bike on a rack type
Yeah.
situation.
unless it's like hiking, that's different. But like just to go to the Silver Lake Reservoir to walk around it, that's pretty. But I want to be able to just like walk around. Like I do love where I live. I can walk around the neighborhood. There's like a strip that we're near that we can walk around, and like I'll run into people. That's nice.
Yeah.
But it's done in like 30 minutes.
Yeah, and also the caveat is this is probably one of the most walkable neighborhoods in
Yeah,
LA,
I know,
Yeah.
which compared, and it's not that walkable.
No.
yeah.
You know.
Outside of like downtown.
Yeah.
This is
Oh, you know, one thing I noticed also is we're just in Philadelphia. Portland and Philadelphia have more of viable, functional downtowns than
Yes.
LA does.
Yeah.
There was just more stuff. I was staying right near Powell's.
Yeah.
But like, there's just more stuff to do in downtown. As
Yeah.
far as I know, I mean, I've been in LA's downtown a fair bit. I like the farmers market, not the farmers market, the Grand Central.
Grand Central is
Oh,
fun.
yeah, that's
But like, there's not as, I don't know. It doesn't feel as let's go downtown and
yeah.
It's like if you get jury duty, you'll go.
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, and I guess I'm separating that from the arts district where I know there's a bunch of food stuff down there.
Yeah.
now.
It's cool. Arts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, all that stuff and the Grand Central Market seem very expensive.
I know.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Because the Grand Central Market feels like a place that shouldn't be that expensive.
No, and then
all these stalls, but then they're like they charge them so much rent just to like be in this spot. Chris, we have a lightning round.
Okay.
Are you ready? It's going to be either or. First ones that come to mind.
Okay.
Beach or mountains?
Ooh, mountains, because I don't love the ocean.
Okay, perfect.
Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Hot or cold?
Cold.
City or country?
That makes sense because I picked mountains.
Yeah, yeah.
Although city or country, I'll pick city.
Beer or wine?
Neither.
Neither.
Coke Zero.
Yeah.
History or modern?
Ooh. I've grown more appreciative of history because Eric really loves history and architecture.
Cute.
But I'll probably pick modern.
What a plot twist.
I know.
Clubs or cafes?
Clubs? Like, what
Like,
kind of club?
are you gonna like go out
like
to the
go
club?
Berlin,
Or are you
cafe.
gonna?
Berlin
unless-
midnight.
Unless I go to, what's the one in Berlin? What is it? It's like a very exclusive club that you can't get into. It's like you wait for hours and then the bouncer is like, nope, not tonight. I forget
Wow.
what
Oh
it's called.
God.
Berghain.
Wow.
Damn.
But no, I would do
Yeah.
cafes.
Yeah.
Cafes.
Okay. Early bird or night owl?
I'm more night owl.
Fancy or casual?
I guess casual, although I like the pretension of it. I mean, I love those Michelin star places I've been to.
Yeah. Fast or slow?
I'll go slow.
Dogs or cats or cows or monkeys?
I would like to go to the Japanese baths where the monkeys take.
Oh,
We've
we went
been-
there.
Oh yeah, and you're not allowed to get into them with them.
No, you're not.
But there are no fences.
Oh really?
So
Yeah.
you're all just around each other.
and we can tell you how to do it properly.
And was it
There's-
cool?
it was awesome.
Fucking
Okay.
awesome.
Okay.
But
cool.
but we stayed right at the entrance
Uh-huh.
and walked in before the tour bus got there.
Oh, so you had more to
So-
yourself.
yeah, and once the tour bus got there, it wasn't as cool.
Gotcha.
So, okay, Chris, we are going to crunch these numbers and come back with your personalized dream trip.
Wonderful.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back. Hi, it's me. Just real quick, I want to talk about my Substack, garrettpalm.substack.com. You can go there. I'm writing in it again. There's stories, there's travel advice, there's places to go, things to see, what to do when you're there, where to eat, where I ate and liked. Go there. You can get it all for free. You can also get the the paid version for a little extra access. You can get to the forum where you can ask for travel advice, and I'll help you out with a trip. And it's also, the paid version is a great way to help support the podcast. So go on over to garrettpalm.substack.com. That's 2 R's, 2 T's, and Garrett. And yeah, give it a read. Thank you. Bye. And we're back.
Woo.
We have gone through the data, looked at all your experiences.
This is a lot of paper tape that you've printed out.
Yeah, I know.
From this mainframe.
I know. And honestly, there's stuff here that I'm still figuring out.
Okay.
But from all of the data you gave us, but I think we've found some stuff in
How
here.
often do y'all pitch the same thing?
We
It's
try to
happened a
pitch
couple
different
times.
we pitched the same trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
it's
had a China off once, and
Okay.
we've
I feel like we've had an Iceland off too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But I think, well,
I'll
I don't
be
know. I'm
curious what you're pitching,
Yeah. Do you want to go first or me?
I can go first. Okay, Chris. I know you've explored a lot of Europe, you've been to Australia, but I'm not sure how much of Asia you've seen. So,
I mean, I have a mirror.
okay, so every day. But let's make
Not a ton. No.
Okay, cool. Well, I'd like to send you to South Korea.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to send you for 2 weeks.
Okay.
And first off, the reason why I'm sending you to South Korea in particular is apparently it has quite a board game culture.
Yes, actually, this is a very good call. Like there are specific games that I would want to purchase at stores in South Korea
Yes.
because they're not available in the U.S. So yes,
Very
this is great.
cool.
This is a great.
God,
call.
I
Yeah.
already can tell. After
South
that.
Well, because I was like, South Korea, it's got food, it's got board games, it's got mountains, and it's got some tea and quirky experiences and some sick architecture.
Yes.
So here we go.
Also, esports and K-pop.
Yes.
So
Also important.
my niece is a huge BTS fan.
Cute.
So I will be expected to bring back a lot of, all the crazy
All the
merch
cool
they have.
merch.
Yeah, they have a crazy, weird merch.
Okay, cool. It wasn't a part of my trip, but also,
Okay,
you
what I'm
can-
hearing is I'm not allowed to get any of that stuff on
No,
Rachel's
you-
trip.
No,
Okay, I gotta
wait,
check
no,
that.
you're also allowed to be a super uncle on the trip.
Wait, I have a chaperone and a bodyguard.
Okay, so you're with BTS the whole time.
Okay, okay.
You can bring whoever you want, or you can go solo. So first off, you're gonna land in Seoul, where you'll go to some fun board game cafes like Dyson Comics Cafe, where they have comics. You can try what they think a burger is.
See how close they get.
Yeah. There's also We Fun, which is a basement bunker vibe with a huge game library. And there's Retro Game Bar in Mapo, or Rolling Dice in Hongdae for international crowd.
Oh, and Hongdae is where that guy is from.
What guy?
The there's a meme guy. I think he's from Hongdae.
Well,
Yes.
Tell you what.
There's a character on TikTok of a guy playing a specific meme type person, which I actually don't think is a flattering portrayal, but I would be fascinated to go to Hongdae to see if it's true.
I'll say you can go there and you can be like playing at the board game cafe and you look up and it's that
And it's
guy.
like that would
Yeah.
be incredible, actually.
So I'll say that can happen.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Then you're going to go through the Gwangjang, get ready for me to mispronounce a lot, market, where you can try mung bean pancakes and some kimbap. Then for a more upscale dining experience, you can get a reservation at Samcheongak. It's a Hanok-style mountainside venue with traditional Korean dining, fine dining. So imagine like on a mountainside, like a big, like kind of like classic building with the like sweeping roof and kind of more of the like traditional castle.
I love this. What time of year am I going?
I should have looked this up. I'm sending you in fall, I think.
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't want it to be too hot. Okay, cool. So you'll go there.
By the way, just remind me that I thought of the perfect board game for you guys. At the end of this.
Okay.
Stick around, listeners, to hear the perfect board game.
I'm actually really excited for that. You can also go to the Dongnaeum Design Plaza if you want to see some modern stuff. It's like this huge building that like kind of looks like a spaceship with all these fun lights, and they've got all these different installations inside.
Cool.
And also for fun, I'm going to send you to the Korea Furniture Museum.
Ooh.
I don't know. It's kind of quirky, but I think it could be cool. Okay, so you'll do that for a couple days. You're not going to be having it's going to be more chill than go the whole
That's
time.
fine. Yeah.
Cool. Then I'm going to send you to Bakhaensan National Park. This is where you'll see more of the beautiful nature of Korea just for the day, but it's got some big mountains and cool forests. So you'll check that out. Then you'll go to the Seoul Urban Mountains, so the more urban side of their mountain range, I guess.
I don't know what an urban mountain is.
I don't know. I guess it's just more densely populated, but you'll do afternoon tea at a traditional tea house.
Okay.
And you can go on an evening snack crawl in Myeongdong where you can get tteokbokki and skewers.
Okay. I like
We
tteokbokki.
love.
I'll also say an underrated thing about these kinds of trips is this is a very overlooked thing to me is just seeing what kind of different plants there are.
Dude, yeah.
When you go somewhere and you're like, what is this? This looks weird.
I think about that living in LA all the time. And especially going from Portland to LA, it's the floor is completely different.
I will say I loved those trees in Portland.
Oh,
those were
the best.
and they were on every single piece of merch available. But it
for
was
good
it was
reason.
oh man, those look really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But when you said the mountains, I was like, I wonder, probably the mountains don't look quite the same.
Yeah, they don't. They're kind of, I would say our mountains are more pointy and these are kind of more curvy at the top,
cool.
which is kind of cool.
I'm down for that.
Then I'm going to have you ride a cable in Namsan. I'm going to have you ride a cable car.
Love it.
To see the North Seoul Tower. And then you'll go for
Wait,
lunch.
is this a street cable car or a suspended cable car?
Ooh, let me double check.
I mean, either way is fine. I'm just trying to paint
The picture.
theater of the mind. I'm trying to imagine what it is.
I'm imagining it's a suspended cable car.
Cool.
Okay, cool. So then you'll have more board game time at Elves and Espresso Cafe, which is kind of a Korean take on the Keebler elves from what I can see from the website.
Classic fantasy trope, the Keebler elves.
Keebler elves.
Yeah.
I mean, they are fantasy.
They are fantasy
I'd
too.
play a role-playing game where you're the Keebler elves.
You'll also, look, you got to take one big swing. You're going to do dinner at a fusion restaurant that's Korean Mexican.
Wow.
So you'll just kind of see what they're doing over there.
This might be where the trip falls apart.
No. It's just the one meal. You just have to try it once.
Okay.
Okay, great. Then you'll go to the Seoul Forest where you'll join a weekend play at a traditional game center. So you'll actually get to play traditional Korean games.
Cool.
Like Yet Tuho and Genji Chaji. They're more like, the games they were playing 200 years ago. Then you'll go chill in the Sangsu Dong cafes. They have mugwort drinks, which could be interesting. And then you'll spend an evening on Han River where you'll have a cute little picnic.
That sounds good.
Yeah, kind of more the Edinburgh out in the
meadows.
The meadows, yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay, that's week 1. Week 2.
Oh my God.
Again, it's going to be so chill. It's not going to.
Yeah.
So you'll go to the Odusan Observatory, and you'll also go to the it's the Unification Observatory, so you can see North Korea from there.
Oh.
So this is where you're going to have kind of a historical moment.
Right.
And
then at some point I cross the DMZ.
Yeah, at some point you cross, and then we have a whole
an
warm
international
beer
crisis.
scenario. Yeah. Okay, great. And then I'm gonna send you to Jeju Island, where they have a lot of wildlife there. They have a lot of black cattle and tangerine tea.
Yes.
And volcanic landscapes.
This sounds great. I think, is this where the end of Maybe Happy Ending, the musical, goes to Jeju Island?
I don't know.
I think it might.
Don't know.
But yes, this sounds great.
Yeah. Then I'm gonna send you to Busan for 2 days.
Okay,
where
for the
you'll
zombies.
for the zombies in particular, but also for the fresh seafood in Zhangjiachi.
That sounds great.
And the modern architecture at Busan Cinema Center, which has the largest, what is it called? It's like basically got the largest lit up, like curvy roof. There's a particular name for what this is called, and I saw it and now I can't find it. But anyway, needless to say, it's an architectural delight.
That sounds great. I will say, just confirm that in the end of Maybe Happy Ending, the characters go to Jeju Island.
Okay,
So I
great.
definitely
so
wanna go
you
there.
can do that. And then finally you're gonna
Garrett, is there not? That's not even a point in you presenting.
I know, but I still have to go through.
No.
with
It basically all hinges on this Korean Mexican meal.
Well, but I do want to say you'll also have, when you go back to Seoul, some of your last meals will be like obviously Korean barbecue.
Okay, great.
And you can do a tasting menu dinner at one of their high-end restaurants like Mingles or Jungsik.
Cool.
So that's basically the Korean adventure that I am pitching to you.
I love it. What's this shit gonna be?
I know. Okay, Chris. I've heard a lot about Europe,
Yes.
Australia,
Yeah.
and I'm actually going to pitch something, a variation on something that has been pitched on this podcast before.
Oh.
By me or by you?
By you. I am going to
East Koreatown staycation.
Which honestly would be pretty fun.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to send you some place that Rachel pitched, and then we went to after she pitched it. I'm sending you to do a show.
Okay.
In Bogota.
Oh,
Colombia.
I have not been to South America at all.
Yes. Bogota. We went to Bogota for Christmas this last year, and it was my first time in South America.
Wow, you could see the Shakira statue.
Okay,
This
cool.
is
Yes.
huge.
Also, I like that I'm booked for a show already.
Yes. Well, the Shakira statue is not in Bogota. It's in Barranquilla, but you could take a trip to see this.
Had either of you been to Colombia before?
No.
Okay, cool.
It was awesome.
So I've booked you. So just let me know when you want me to hit OK on the on the show at the Teatro Colón. It's a neoclassical theater in the La Candelaria neighborhood. It's one of Colombia's most prestigious cultural venues.
Okay.
So it's like this big, beautiful theater, like very classical looking. And you'll be doing your shows there. So that's going to be kind of like your basis. That's going to be what most days you'll do shows. Let's say you'll do shows like Thursday to Sunday.
Okay.
For 3 weeks. And I've found that it's not very common, but I have a feeling that it will be even more special to find a board game cafe in Bogota.
Okay.
There are a few.
Okay, cool.
And I have a feeling that because there are only a few, that's where they all are.
Yeah.
Everybody.
It's like if you find me a gun store in the UK.
Yes.
That
you
would be
find
even more special.
Exactly. And it will be full of all the gun nuts in the UK. This is all the the tabletop game nuts in Bogota are hanging out here at Relier Cafe y Jugos de Mesa.
Okay.
In Chapinero. And it's a really...
Juegos.
Rachel...
You said table juice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yep. Okay, so that's not juice. That's Juegos.
Juegos de Mesa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rachel's the Spanish speaker.
Gotcha.
So it's a board game cafe and bookstore. That's kind of, it looks very pretty. It's kind of like every every place that you can kind of go out to eat and spend time in Bogota and all over Colombia. It's very pretty. It's very built around like spending time and like getting a tea, usually a coffee, but you can also get tea.
I'll say most restaurants too, you're seeing like explosions of plants, which is kind of cool.
Which is this.
Very,
So if you see, there's like the back patio explosion of plants.
Love that.
Describe what you're seeing.
What? No, this is a podcast. I don't have to describe. So
there are vines all over a fence.
Vines and like ferns and like like a little patio. All the other photos of this place are all board games. People playing board games.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, that you'll spend a lot of time there. You'll also you'll stay in the neighborhood of Chapinero, which is a very more kind of modern neighborhood. You'll be performing in Candelaria because that's where the theater is, but Chapinero is where a lot of more like Candelaria is more of a touristy area. Chapinero is more of a locals area, and it's the safest place to walk around at night in Bogota. You'll stay at the Casa Legado, kind of a boutique hotel, kind of artsy and warm with a lush garden courtyard. Like a nice little a hotel there, like higher end. You'll spend your off days eating. I will send you to one of my favorite meals.
And this is the place you actually went.
Yeah, Humo Negro.
Okay.
And this is ranked among Latin America's top 50. It's a izakaya with using Colombian ingredients.
Oh,
and it's
interesting.
It works. And like we went as vegetarians and had a great time, but it looked like everybody else was having an even more amazing time.
Gotcha.
So yeah, you'll get ingredients that you're just like, what is this?
And that's what I want at a restaurant.
Yeah.
You'd be like, what the hell is this?
You'll get that at the Korean Mexican restaurant as well.
You'll eat at Afuente, and there's a great pizza place, Artigianale, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. It's on the top 50 list of pizzerias in the world. It's really good.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wait, what's that place called?
I believe it was.
That's not where we went, right?
No, it is where we went.
Whoa, we just walked in there. That's crazy.
We just stumbled upon it. Pizzardi Artigianale.
Okay.
And it's top 50 in the world. And it was incredible. I was really blown away by the pizza there. Just proof that you can find. I'm gonna make you go
Garrett's
there so you see
top pizzas: 1 Nepal, 2
Bogota,
3 New York,
Tokyo. I'd put Tokyo up there.
Wow.
Naples
154.
Yeah. What? Yeah, because everybody perfected it. They started it. We all perfected it.
Wow.
No, I actually want to go to Naples this fall and just eat pizza. I'll send you to Mesa Franca, seasonal fresh plates in a casual modern setting. Salvo Patria, kind of local, bold, heartfelt cuisine. Prudencia, kind of like a more of an experience. The food was good.
I'll say it was okay.
Yeah, it was okay, but it was fun. It was like all wood fired. It
Uh-huh.
was the lunch, and you kind of move throughout the house for each course.
Cool.
Very slow food kind of place. The food was fine. That bread, though.
Yeah, the bread was really good.
That bread was really good. Do you like bread?
Yeah, I love bread.
Okay, good. You'll also get a lot of street food. I'm going to send you to a place that's famous for tamales and hot chocolate with cheese.
Okay.
It's the oldest restaurant in Bogota. You'll have lots of arepas, obleas, which are the giant wafer cookies with dulce de leche and jam.
Wait, what's that called?
Obleas? Rachel, correct me if I'm wrong. Obleas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's all phonetic.
Yeah. And then on your off days when you're not doing a show, you'll kind of get out. You'll go to the Museo del Oro, which was pretty cool. It was all the
Museum of Gold?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was kind of like not into going there, but then when I got there, because I was like, what? It's gold,
Right.
but it's gold artifacts from pre-Hispanic cultures.
Oh, interesting.
So it's all the really old like gold masks and like all this crazy, amazing stuff. Do you like kind of funny paintings?
Talking dogs playing poker, is that word?
Yeah. I'll send you to the Museo Botero.
Okay.
This was my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He paints everything chubby.
Oh, okay.
So
You've
he'll
seen
make like
him.
a
Yeah.
chubby,
Have I seen
like the
this?
chubby Mona Lisa is like one of the
I think I have
famous
seen
ones.
this.
Yeah. So
Is it one guy's thing?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
one guy's
his-
Oh,
thing.
that's funny.
He's just like a painter who dared to make everything chubby.
That's hilarious.
It's cute.
Yeah, he's from he's from Colombia. Here's some photo. Oh,
Sorry, I'm just fixing
Are you
something here.
texting? You got a text?
I'm texting a special consultant. Yes, I know
Okay.
exactly who this is.
Yes.
Yes.
So you'll see some and the museum is really cool because it's was it this one or Medellin that was really kind of brutal about like these artists really wanted to change the world. Turns out art alone can't do it.
Which I agree with.
Yeah. We'll send you to there's this place. Hi, Lily. The Tequendama Falls Museum, a spooky former hotel turned museum perched on a cliff overlooking a massive waterfall.
Wow.
Well, we didn't do that.
I know, we did not do that. I know.
Okay, hold on a second.
Oh, the timer?
Hello. I'm on a podcast. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, podcast. Oh, hi, I'm Oscar Montoya.
Oh!
Oh, cute.
I'm on a podcast with
I'm laughing already.
I'm on a podcast with Garrett Palm and Rachel Van Ness. They are
Garrett, oh, hi.
So-
Hey, Oscar.
so
Rachel.
Hi.
so they are pitching me. Garrett is on this podcast we talk about travel, and then they pitch me prospective travel
Yes.
trip tips or trips.
Are you going to talk it through with Oscar?
No, I'm not
Yeah.
going to talk over it all, but Garrett is pitching that I go to Bogota.
Yes.
So
I know that Garrett and Rachel have been there, yes?
Yes.
they have. So basically, Garrett's just having me rehash all the shit he did wrong on his trip with Rachel.
Yeah. I learned a lot.
Okay.
But
yeah.
what is the place called? Humo Negro that I'm going
Humo
to?
Negro.
Humo Negro. Basically, he's sending me to some restaurants there. So I'm just wondering, do you have any Colombia travel tips that I can add to my itinerary?
Okay, so this is embarrassing to say. I am from Colombia. I was born there. I was born in Palmira, but I've never been to any major city in Colombia. So, no.
Wait, what's the closest big city to you?
Cali?
So
Kali. Okay.
okay,
I really want
so
to
I'm gonna pitch to Garrett that we add a side trip to what's the town you're most familiar with?
From Bogota to Cali?
Uh,
I feel like that tracks.
Yeah.
But you know
Yeah.
what but honestly, like I would say, like Bogota's beautiful and it's like a great city.
in
It's
the
the capital.
mountains.
It's cold, but
Yeah.
it's in the mountains. But I would recommend going to Medellin instead. To be honest with you,
yeah, this Garrett pitch is horrible.
What?
I
No.
agree.
I thought Medellin was fine. I liked Medellin.
you went to Medellin. Why
Yes.
did you think it was fine?
I mean,
Uh-oh.
Because he's xenophobic.
Be real.
I think part of it was like Bogota. Everybody was saying don't go to Bogota, and
Right.
when I got to Bogota, I was like, what are they talking about? And so that part of it is like it was underhyped. I think that's part of it, and Medellin was overhyped. But also like maybe it was also where we were staying. We were like they called it Gringolandia.
In Bogota?
What's that?
In Bogota or
No,
Medellin.
in Medellin. In Bogota, we stayed in a Chapinero, a neighbor like
fun. Oh,
outside
see, that's
of the where all the tourists were, and it was great.
So you're mad that in Medellin you're mad that you stayed at Gringoland?
They quarantined us into Gringolandia.
Yeah.
As they should.
Yeah.
As they should.
Yeah,
Yeah, so Chris, you have no problem not going there. But you're like, hey, okay, yeah, you.
They're not gonna put me in. Yeah, I'm not going to Gringoland. They're gonna put me
They're
in
not putting you in Gringoland.
Chinito Town or whatever.
Chapinero. No.
I worked at a Mexican restaurant, and the guy called me Chinito the whole summer.
I just see Chris going to Colombia and just being like, Chinito Land, where's that?
No.
But also, there's gonna be hot guys there, right?
Yeah, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, no, actually, I did cross off a few places because Bogota is more LGBTQ plus
Oh yeah,
friendly.
thanks for not sending me to.
Yeah.
All right, Oscar, I know you got to go, but just do you have any other tips for just going to Colombia in general?
No, I think Colombia is a great time right now.
Yeah.
I would say if this was the 90s, I'd be like, no. But now Colombia's put so much money into their tourism that it's like, it's great.
It's really
great to go. But like, I feel like, you're not a beach person, Chris, right?
Correct. In fact, they quizzed me beach or mountain, and I said mountain.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So like Cartagena would not be a great place for you or anything like that. So like, I feel like you would do great in Medellin. Bogota's great, but it is like, to me, it's like a city. Medellin feels a lot more like artsy, like cool shit happening in Medellin.
Okay, this sounds exciting. I'm adding you as a third host of this podcast.
But also, I'll say this, that like I've never been to any of those cities. I've never been to a city in Colombia. So you got to tell me how it is.
Okay, I'm going to go. Also,
You know.
I want to let you know, congrats on your episode of Game Changer. The roulette episode was so fun.
Oh my God! Thank you. I don't remember what I did, and I don't think I'll watch the episode. But thank you.
All right, I'll let you go, Oscar. I don't want to keep you.
Okay. Bye, y'all. Bye,
Bye.
Garrett.
Bye, Oscar.
Okay,
Chris.
bye.
See ya. Bye.
This is great because now we finally got Oscar on the podcast.
I know. I've been.
Oh, yeah.
I've
Oh, really?
emailed him several times,
That's hilarious.
and he responded a while ago. But okay. So Chris, that's my trip to you.
Well, I'm going to bring Oscar with me
Okay, great.
on the trip. I'll bring Oscar on both trips.
Yeah,
South
yeah.
Korea, South Korea.
I know he
and-
would love both. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can kind of talk us through it.
Yeah.
Um.
Talk us through your thinking right now.
Okay. It's interesting. I wouldn't have thought of South America.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought of Colombia either. I think I have a irrational bias towards countries that I think are going to be too warm.
Yeah. Well, that was my feeling with Colombia too, and that's why I said Bogota, because it is cold.
Okay,
It's
good.
at elevation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's up in the mountains. It's surrounded by mountains.
Yeah, you know what? And I probably have also been imbalanced in going to cities, to trips where I can speak English. Which, I mean, probably in both these cities,
Yeah.
I probably could get away with it. But I think that I have, like, if you look at most of my travels have been like the UK, Australia, like, have been very, like, conducive to just, like, not being stressed out about that.
Can I make one addendum
Sure.
to my trip?
Medellin instead of Bogota.
No. So when I was there, as I was leaving, I got a Instagram DM
Oh, wow.
from a Smosh fan who worked at the Bogota mayor's office, offering me tickets and events and places to get into with because they were a fan of me on Smosh.
Wow.
I'm gonna say that person also watches Dropout
Wow.
and watches Noobs on the Goof
We're gonna
Tower.
have to look at dropout demographics in South Korea, and
Yeah.
that's gonna decide it for me.
And this person will help you get into
Where do you have
some
the
cool
most
stuff.
social cachet?
Yeah.
I think the itinerary is probably the South Korea itinerary probably sounds more fun off the top of my head to me. I do like that Garrett has booked me on a gig. Because I do like traveling when I'm doing a show.
Yeah.
Because I actually do like, it's interesting. Wow. I'm trying to think of how egotistical and narcissistic this is going to sound.
I'm giving you power.
You move differently through a city. This is about power because you move differently through a city when you are like there as a guest.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, we're here to see you, as opposed to I'm just a tourist, right?
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or actually, I think you move differently through the city when you're working versus vacationing.
Agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I would give points to Garrett for that. Let's see. I probably won't be called Chinito in South Korea. Is my guess. That probably won't be called that in Colombia either.
You might.
Let's see. I wouldn't. Okay, here is a weak spot in the South Korea itinerary, which is that I am not the biggest fan of Korean food. And I think this probably comes from a generational Chinese bias. But almost every time I eat Korean food, except for specifically like Korean barbecue, which I do love, but almost every time I eat, like I went to the restaurant that the cast of Parasite loved. When they won the Best Picture, they went to this place that night, and then like the next week we went there, and almost every time I have an Asian food that isn't Chinese, excepting Japanese, which feels so different, but a different kind of food that's not Chinese, I always think, oh, there's a version of this that's better that's Chinese. So I know that's not the most wholesome thing to say. So I think part of it might just be that for whatever reason, the flavor profiles in Korean food don't line up for me that well. Something about there's a cleanness to their flavor profiles, and in my perception, maybe it's less greasy, or there's a lot of things about it that seem better in some way, but don't appeal to me as much as Chinese food.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I do love Colombian food. So like I love a platos típico or whatever.
Yeah,
I was obsessed with that when we were there.
So
we found a vegan version.
Oh, really?
It's really good.
Yeah.
Because I think is that the one I had a dish at some place in New York and here in LA that was basically like rice, cooked ground beef, and a fried egg on top. And I could have had that every day my whole life at these Colombian restaurants. I feel like, am I having to pick one?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
But I will say kudos because both of these are not things I would have suggested, but they are interesting to me. Both would significantly widen my experience, the horizon of my experience. I think I'll probably go with South Korea. It was really close though, because I think that the visceral experiences of the food and like I could see the like, what do you call it? The hedonistic elements of Colombia being better than those of Korea. But I think that it might also be just that I feel unconsciously I might move through Korea more easily. just like that not that I'm Korean, but like that I feel like
You'll stick out less.
Yeah, or something. I don't know. But I mean, I've also been interested in both of these countries. And it also might be that connecting to an experience in Korea feels like I'd be connecting more to like the moment, like in the world, let's say. Yeah. Like in terms of culture, our American culture
is really into
what my
Korean
niece is into.
Right
yeah. Like there is Korean culture is like the dominant Asian culture in America right now. You know what I mean? Like
they're the cultural it girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think maybe some of that is too. It was very close, but I think I'm picking the Korea trip.
I'm impressed that it got close. Because Rachel, I'm happy that it got close, even though, I still lost and my record is dismal. I'm happy to have gotten close. That's enough for me.
It's really been a journey watching
I
you.
I know. Well, Chris, we should let you know that we currently do not have the funding to send you on this trip.
Oh.
However, when we do, we will send you. We
Okay.
will be sure to send you on this trip.
I have the board game for you guys.
Okay, yes.
Oh, what is it?
So
this is a big reveal.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't think of a better board game for you based on this podcast.
Okay.
And if you haven't heard of it, like, do you have any inkling what I'm going to say?
No.
I'm really excited though.
So we live in Los Angeles. In Los Angeles in Burbank, there's a board game store called Geeky Teas and Games, which you were saying you haven't been to, but you want to at some point.
Yeah.
And they have a big library there of games you can borrow. It's $8 and you can play all day.
Yeah.
You can borrow a game. They have the game there that you can borrow.
Okay.
The game is called Let's Go to Japan.
Oh, I feel like I have seen this.
So
I was hearing about this. Yeah.
in this game, you pick from available cards that are destinations in Japan, and your job is to assemble I think 1 or 2 week itinerary of all the destinations you want to go to on your Japan trip.
Oh my God.
That's kind of almost
incredible.
like you wanted to develop like a tourism oriented game.
Yeah.
And this is like,
Yeah.
you could do this easily for every state, country.
Okay.
I will say this game is fascinating because every card has like a full description of the thing. And it's like, go to this Shinto temple or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's got a little flavor text saying, this was, dated from this, whatever. So you can just play this game and like read the cards and be like, oh, this looks cool.
And the art's really beautiful too.
And your goal is to like set up this like kind of smooth itinerary where
that's so cool.
you're not taking crazy like trips from Tokyo to, I think it's focused on 2 cities. I can't remember what, but like, this is like basically what your podcast is as a board game.
This is going to be my we're going to do, Rachel and I, we're going to play Let's Go to Japan as our Patreon exclusive Let's Play series.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a really neat game. Like
that does sound cool.
It is one of those games where you kind of like you're sort of just working on your own little project.
Yeah.
And then at the end you sort of score it or whatever. But it was more just like, it's cool to just like read about all this stuff.
I know.
It's just nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the rec.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Have a good trip.
All right. See you in Seoul.
See you in
Bogota. And that's, I guess Oscar didn't convince him.
No, he wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the Korean Mexican food restaurant was not enough of a deterrent.
Yeah. I'd be curious to go. I mean, well, because we've had Korean Mexican food in LA. It's a big fusion in LA. The Kogi truck, Roy
and
Choi.
We've had Japanese, Mexican in Hiroshima. That was really good.
Yeah, that was really good.
So it can happen. It can work.
It can happen. I mean, the Japanese Guatemalan was just adding jalapenos to okonomiyaki.
Hey, that's enough.
It was enough. All right. Please give us reviews. Tell your friends.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and most importantly, to say hi.
Say hi. Leave a comment in Spotify. I found that there are comments on Spotify.
You guys have been commenting this whole time, and we never reacted.
Yeah.
It's messed up.
So sorry to the 4 of you who have commented over the years.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Have a good trip.